welcome to UPfront. Today, we're looking at what's supposed to be one of the biggest campaign promises of the Akufo administration, and this is to do with the provision of $1 million to every single constituency. The ministry charged with the implementation of this particular policy is the ministry you're putting the focus and the spotlight on UPfront today. After this break, I'll tell you how that's supposed to be done. Hello, good evening, and welcome to UPfront. Tonight, we are looking at one of the biggest campaign promises of the Akufo administration. This is to do with the provision of $1 million for each constituency. The ministry charged with the implementation of this particular policy is the Special Development Ministry. Initiatives Ministry, of course, you can put them together in a very nice way, that way. The minister in charge of this particular ministry is the Honorable Hawa Kumsen. She is my guest on UPfront today, and we'll be having more to do with what's happening so far, about 8 months down the line into the Akufo administration. Honorable, you're welcome to UPfront.
Thank you.
I hope you're doing well.
Very well.
I was told that you happen to have been the only person who has maintained the Ewutu Senya East constituency seat for 2 terms. What did that trick?
Thank you. And it is true that I'm the only member of parliament who have been able to retain the seat for the 2nd time. It's all about your relationship with the people.
I see.
Humility.
Yeah, people, they don't like your predecessors, so that's what you're saying.
Oh, no, that is not, but I would say the relationship.
You give them more money?
No. Not that I give them more money, but I try to satisfy their needs. Even though when I was in opposition, I was able to meet some of their demands.
I see, that's interesting.
And also being a woman.
I'm just wondering how you're able to satisfy needs without giving money.
We've been advocating that we should push more women into politics. And my area think maybe
so the people are gender conscious.
Yes.
I see.
So that is it.
Interesting. But there's a lot of talk about having to combine the work as an MP and minister, especially for this particular ministry that many expect so much from. How is it so far?
Thank you. Yeah, before I continue, I want to say hi to your viewers and listeners. And thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, as a member of parliament and then a minister, it's like a nursing mother at the same time being a working person. So we say working mother. If you are a working mother, you have to schedule your time and your activities to make sure that you'll be able to attend to your home, attend to your kids, and also do your work. So as a member of parliament and a minister, I think I'm not the only person who is in this position. And I've also learned from my predecessors and my seniors that as a member of parliament, you should schedule yourself in such a way that you'll be able to be in parliament when it's necessary for you to be there. And also be in your office to do implement the policies of the government. Do
you sometimes feel that your legislative representative role is actually taking a big hit because of the ministerial role you play?
No, please.
Or you can do both?
I do both, yeah, I do both. We have attendance sheets.
I've not spoken to people in your constituency. Perhaps
yeah, I mean the Parliament House. Yeah. On the floor of Parliament.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Anyway, but let's focus on the ministry. Many really believe all you're supposed to do is share money to constituencies. Exactly what's the rationale behind the ministry itself, and what's your scope of operation?
Yeah, I'm happy you've brought this up today, and I think with this explanation, people will now understand why this money is being allocated to constituencies. Yes, the money is not to be shared into our pockets, or maybe use it for clothes or buying new cars for the constituencies, but it's for development of the constituencies. The government says it's bringing development right to the doorsteps of the people. And he thinks this is one of the means that we can do it. Honestly, when we were doing the campaign, and His Excellency, the President and the Vice President, the then candidates, mentioned it, people thought it was just for campaign promises. But this is a president who wants to fulfill almost all the promise he has made to the people of this country.
Okay.
And we all know about this $1 million to a constituency. So when he had the opportunity to be the president, it was one of his first priorities to make sure that the first budget we allocate funds to make sure that we do the implementation. So this money basically is to help do development at the constituency level. We're not saying there are no developments. They are, but when you look at the rate of development, the president and the vice king, when this 1 million per constituency is also there, it will foster more of the development than any other work. So this money is to be used for developmental works. And also, through this money, the government thinks, or His Excellency thinks, we can eradicate poverty. Okay. Even if not totally, but at least we can minimize it at a certain level. Okay. Because the money will be used for a lot of things at the constituency level.
We know of the one constituency, 1 million part. Beyond this, is the ministry doing any other thing different?
Yes, the ministry is not really doing, but we are also supposed to get some donor funds to help with the priority of the government.
So you are purposefully set up to deal with the 1 million per constituency plan. Okay, now we'll get into that particular plan, and probably when you unveil it, people will appreciate it far better than they have done up until this particular time. Looking at how you will have to start, what is happening so far since the ministry came into being? You were vetted somewhere in February or March, then you had to actually go through the process. So in fairness, you've been in office less than 5 months. What has been happening within the 5 months?
Thank you. Since the day we were sworn in, or I was sworn in as a minister for this ministry, being a new ministry, we started with the structure of the administration. We've been able to put things together. And this ministry is actually going to do the implementation through the development authorities that we've mentioned. We already know we have SADA at the north, and in our promise or campaign promise, we mentioned that we will change SADA to Northern Development Authority. And apart from the SADA being changed to Northern Development Authority, we'll create 2 more development authorities, which will be the Middle Belt and then the Coastal Zone. So as we speak, the bill is in Parliament, it's even at the committee level, and they are doing the stakeholders consultation. Because the ministry is so dear to the president, he said before the authorities are in place, and this office is at the presidency, we could use some provisional arrangement to start the implementation, pending on the passage of the development authorities. So from February or March, after putting up the organogram of the office, we've been able to we've constituted 10-member team per every region to do the needs assessment of every constituency, then bring it to the office, and then we'll assess and see if those projects are actually what the people need. As I mentioned earlier on, this ministry is working with the grassroots. And so whatever we are doing, we're doing it with the people at the constituency level. They should tell us exactly what they want, because we want them to own the project. We don't want it to look as if government to always decide on what to bring to the people.
So it's bottom up, not top down.
Yeah, it's bottom up and then up down too, because government also have its priorities to the constituency.
Let me get this. You have a team, 10 of them, who are in the regions, right?
Yeah.
Their business is to make sure that, is it for every region?
Every region we have 10-member team.
So this 10-member team is supposed to gather what's supposed to be the thoughts of the people on exactly what they want as development.
Yes.
But I thought that could have been done through the district assembly structure. So, for example, there are unit committees for every assemblyman. Let's say for 500 in an area. Then it seeps up into assembly level, and assembly can actually take it up to their composite budgets. Why a parallel structure at this time?
Thank you. This is not a parallel structure, please. Yes, we're using the assembly as well, and then the unit committee members. But as I mentioned earlier on, sometimes even the projects that are being implemented by the assembly, they are not all coming from the people. They just go to a section of the people, or they go around the town and the planners will think this is what the people want. Just this morning, I heard on one of the sister stations saying that somebody mentioned that there is a market somewhere in the bush that is lying down and nobody's using it. So I thought the people were not consulted before that market was constructed.
Because it would have been put to good use.
That is it. So we think it is better we move to the people. And this project, I mentioned earlier on that we are implementing through the development authorities. The development authority will also come up with their other plans to support whatever government is also doing at the constituency level. That is why we use already the how do you call it? The assembly has a lot at hand to deal with. So we don't also want to bring this in addition. And these are president's special initiatives. And for that matter, whatever you are doing or implementing, you have to do it very fast. But when you use the assembly structures, it will delay. And we want to avoid the bureaucracy as much as possible. That is why we use it.
The bureaucracy also ensures some level of accountability, I'm sure you are
Yes, there will be accountability even here. But, I mean, we just want to minimize it.
I'm not clear how the accountability will be done with this particular structure.
Yes, with the ministry working with the development authority. The authority will have to let the ministry know whatever we are doing in consultation with the stakeholders.
So let me look at the structure carefully this way. It's the ministry at the apex, right?
Yeah.
Then a development authority works under the ministry.
Yes, please.
Then what else is below the development authority? Or they have direct connection with the constituency?
They have direct connection with their constituency. When the development authority is being established, we will have coordinators from the constituency who will be liaising with the authority.
So a coordinator for a constituency.
A constituency.
And that coordinator is supposed to do exactly what at that low level?
Yeah.
I'm asking, what will be the job of the coordinator?
The coordinator is coordinating all the activities at the grassroots and reports to the authority. The coordinator will be part of the authority, but he will be there working.
So, for example, if tomorrow you are done setting up the development authorities, if, let's say, you have a coordinator appointed today, how would you get to know that this is what the people want? Would it be the 10-man team at the region that would determine that, or those at the constituency level will have to do some form of meeting to determine that?
The 10-member team members will be absorbed into the authority, because the authority is a new office we are setting up together. So
will there be a regional structure for the authority?
Yes, there will be regional structure.
So every region will have a representative?
Every region will have a representative. And then the zone, we have the zonal, which is the authority, zonal authority. So let's take it that Coastal Development Authority, the head office, we are yet to decide where the head office will be. But every region will have an office.
So, for example, for the Coastal Development Authority, of course, you say you are yet to decide, and that bill is in Parliament, so some changes may even be made to it and all of that. But I want to be clear, how many regions constitute the Coastal Development Authority?
Coastal is 4 regions: Volta region, Greater Accra region, Central region, and then Western region.
The Volta region is part of it?
Yeah, Volta
is both Southern and Northern Volta are part of it.
Part, yes.
That's interesting. Yes. The fact that this northern part of Volta stretches beyond the coast to the northern part of the country, but it still forms part of the Coastal Development Authority.
Yes.
Anyway, there are plans to establish or maybe separate the Volta region into 2. If the OT region is established, would it be still part of this particular? The question I'm asking is, are the new regions which are being created also going through a different module or process to be created, factored into the breakdown of the development authorities?
Yes, because when we were creating or bringing up the regions. We did that with the local government minister,
okay,
and then the minister of for reorganization. Yeah,
okay.
we did that
So,
together.
for example, when the OT region is created, it will still be part of the coastal.
It will depend the number of towns that will make the OT.
Okay.
Yeah, if it is more of the northern part, then we can add it to the northern part.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get you saying that the creation of this region are inextricably intertwined to your development authorities.
No, yeah.
They are not?
They are not.
Okay. Now, the part that's also confusing to many is how is the money going to be, quote, shared?
Thank you. We know every region has the number of constituencies under it. In the central region, because I'm from the central region, we have 23 constituencies. Yeah. So $23 million will be given to the central region, okay, and then Greater Accra. But it will all be put at the Development Authority.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that's clear to me. Then if, let's say, I'm from Mankasim, the people of Mankasim are in a particular constituency, how would the people of Mankasim get to influence which projects or development authority action comes to them?
I earlier on mentioned that we have coordinators,
okay,
constituency coordinators, who will be liaising with the member of parliament, and then the DC or MCE there, together with the regional minister.
Okay.
So whatever.
So these four are the main agents who determines that?
Who determines, together with the development authority, yeah.
Yeah, but let me be clear.
Yeah.
What level of consultation will go into it so that me, who is not into any of these structures, can also influence what they call a project gets to be put out there? Every
year, the development authority will come down, okay, to the constituency and then do stakeholders consultation, to get their needs. We'll be doing the needs assessment every year. Even though when we do it and we are not able to implement all the projects, what will be there, we still find out if you still need it. Then the development authority will bring it to the ministry to let us know that the people still stand that they want this project. It's so dear to their heart and we need to do it. They will do it. We'll always give them the opportunity. That's why we're creating these coordinators at the level, so that the coordinator will be liaising with the authority, whilst the authority is also feeding the ministry with all the information at the grassroots. We really want to take the development down there. It's not coming from the ministry. It's not coming from the development authority. Every project that will be done at the constituency level will come from the people of the constituency.
And you are of the firm belief that a single coordinator can take care of a constituency. I mean, some are very big constituencies too.
Yes, but it will not be just for 1 week or 2 days.
Okay.
At least in a month or two, the person can collate all this information together with the planner at the assembly. Okay,
that's another interesting connection. How is this authority, let's say an authority for the central region, well, the coastal regions, because the central region will fall under that, how are they going to be linked up with the district assemblies?
The linkage is that we'll be using the medium plan of the assembly. The DCE will be in the stakeholders consultation together with the planner at the assembly.
Okay.
You understand? So when we bring all these people together and we realize that actually this is what the people really need, then the authority will take it up. It's no more going to be with the assembly because the assembly is already doing. And then whatever the assembly is doing, if it happens that the authority is doing it, the assembly will not do it. It will leave it to the authority. And if already the assembly has started, gotten to a certain stage and they cannot even complete it, and the authority can do it, since it is dear to the people of the constituency, we'll do it for them. But we're going to work together.
Do you suspect overlapping roles which may create problems?
No, please.
So, for example, you just illustrated that what's been done by the assembly, for example, would have to be done separately from what the authority is doing.
Yes.
And you also said that a project that's not been completed can be taken over and completed.
Yes.
I know the assemblies prepare their own composite budget.
Yeah.
By the time they'll go through their motions and approval of this budget and all of that, would the authority be waiting for them to finish that before they start their projects?
If the authority has money and it's ready, we can do it. Whilst the assembly use the money for other things.
Okay, so that means
or maybe there is a school building that is saturated there, and the people need the structure to be renovated or worked on. We will not sit down to wait for the assembly for 2 years whilst the authority can do this. We say we're bringing development right to the doorstep of the people. So we shouldn't wait and say because the assembly is taking it, and so we have to allow the assembly to do. If the development authority can come in, that's why we say most of the projects we're going to do it with the assembly.
Okay, so are these special interventions or they are planned, well thought through interventions? I hope you get the difference from what I'm saying. Are you doing it like you have to intervene on an automatic in some form or some way that shows that it's an emergency and I have to come in, or these are planned programs?
They are for interventions.
They are for interventions?
Yes.
So, for example, a school collapse and you can replace the school immediately. You don't have to go through the assembly structures.
No, please.
But you also created the understanding to me that you also have to have a plan separate from what the assembly is doing.
Not really separate. I told I would be using the medium-term plan of the assembly.
Okay.
I mentioned it.
So what would the coordinator be doing with the consultations on the grounds?
When we do the consultation, then we'll come to the assembly.
Okay.
Definitely some of the
projects will be taken up by these assemblies.
That is it. So we'll just have to take it up there. So whatever we're doing at the consultation level, we'll be using the medium-term plan of the assembly to see which one is within what the people have requested for. Then we will take it from there.
I get the impression that this program really is about more money to the grassroots and more money to, let's say, the assemblies to work with, isn't it?
Yes.
So why didn't we just give them all that they deserved in their composite budgets?
They are being given.
Yes.
The assembly is
true that
already
this
given.
assemblies come off and I
Yeah,
get that.
through the district.
But there's never a time that the
this
district...
is a special initiative of the government.
Yes, but
okay.
the district assemblies...
The district... Let me
have always complained that they don't have money.
The assembly
yes.
is not giving... It's not helping in a small business in the community.
Yes.
But this ministry will be doing it.
But Maslock is always helping with small businesses
but how much
across
do we
the
even
country.
get from the Maslock?
But it's not only Maslock that's there. There's also GBS. There's also...
But there's a government special initiative.
But there are other initiatives,
there
to be fair, who are doing the same thing.
This is, you know, this is not... Maslock is there to give out money for small businesses to do their work with it. But this is not merely for that. This is with other projects.
Okay.
You understand?
Do you have specific
so it will depend on their constituency. If they want the money to be used for small loans for the people, it can be given to them.
Do you have
but we're not using
projects
everything for them.
Do you have specific projects in mind? Do you, for example, say that we can build schools, but we can't build hospitals? Is that also mapped out? Or every single need can be taken care of so far as it's within your budget?
Yes, every single need can be catered for, if only it's within our budget. That's why I'm saying...
so you can build roads in the constituencies?
If only the budget is within our budget, we can build, yeah.
Okay, but does that not conflict with other things that other ministries will be doing? Not
because this ministry collaborates with all the ministries.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So, for example, by the time you get to know that the school is the most important need in Mankasim, you have realized that all the other agencies are not doing it. That's
they are not doing it. Then who will come in?
And that, will not also be equally laborious and go through all the processes, because being able to ask, let's say, Roads and Highways, of Ghana Highways Authority and all of that is equally...
We just need to bring in their technical men, and that's all.
That's all?
That's all.
Okay.
Do the project.
So now we know that the development authorities, their bills are in Parliament. You're also saying that there's consultation happening on the grounds now. The 10-man committee, have they started work?
They're already on the ground working.
So what are they doing right now?
Who
are they speaking to?
Speaking to the people of the constituents. I remember last week we were at Sinya, at the Deba, and then a chief mentioned it even before the president, that he thanked me so much that my people have come to the constituency to ask them of their needs, and they've given everything to them. So they are writing the reports. Most of the regions are ready with their reports to submit at the office here for us to do the implementation.
So they are consulting chiefs? Chiefs
and all stakeholders, yeah.
And stakeholders will mean what? Assemblymen too?
Assemblymen are there, teachers, market women, NGOs, I mean, name them.
Basically, they are consulting everybody in the constituency.
Everybody in the constituency, because what you
and they're almost done with their reports.
They're almost done.
Then it's way too quick, for example,
no,
to
for more than a month now.
Oh, they've been doing that for more than a month now. Okay.
They started end of, I think, somewhere early July.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now, how long do you think Parliament is going to consider these development authority bills?
That one, it depends. I can't tell. Even though I'm a member of Parliament, they've done the consultation as I speak, but they are yet to receive the opinions of the people and then do the clause by clause consideration. So I don't know how long that will take. I
spoke to the majority leader. He's hopeful that by the end of the year, or hopefully before November, his fear is that we should be able to finish early enough so that they can make adequate budgetary allocations for these development authorities.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Okay. So, I mean, you also think that that should be done?
Yes, please.
What time would be the most appropriate time for you to be able to get this rolling?
Like he mentioned, maybe by November, Parliament will resume, I think, first week in October or end of September. And when we go back to Parliament, it will be one of the bills that will be worked on at Parliament. So I believe maybe by November we'll be done with. It depends on the number of opinions that will come from outside. If it's not that much, maybe the select committee can consider them quickly. Okay,
so the memorandum that people will send to actually try and work on these particular bills are the ones you are considering. There's a bigger discussion that those who are pessimistic about development authorities put out there. They give examples. They said we had Juradep, we had Voradep, we had so many of them, I mean, in times past. We had Sedicom, which was supposed to play a similar role of what they call it, development authority. SADA is a big one. And the failures of SADA is known to virtually everybody in this republic. How different will these other fanciful northern development, middle development, coastal development be from the previous ones which have been gargantuan failures?
The difference is that this time around we have a ministry that is mandated to supervise all the activities of the authorities.
Merely because there's a ministry means that it will not fail? Yes,
because they used not to have monitors. I will say that.
They were directly under the office of the president. It's virtually the most important eyes that can be on your work. Is it not so?
It is. But the monitoring was to a certain level. But this time around, this ministry is fully responsible for these authorities.
Okay, so I want to know, for example, between the Northern Development Authority and SADA, what will change? What conceptually will change?
The change here will be, the only change will be the supervision.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I said, when I went to SADA, I sat down with the CEO and the officers, and to be honest with you, initially there were no any supervision work going on there. Nobody was monitoring them. And it's like along the line there were some issues that government's funds were not being
used well
there.
The way you're saying it nicely, I mean, you are in Parliament. Parliament of this republic said that they had abused resources. The Auditor General's report has clearly said that former CEOs had engaged in things that were close to criminal. So it's not so. I mean, what I'm asking is for the ordinary person to have a guarantee that we are not going to have another SADA just with a different name.
We've learned from those mistakes. We've really learned from it, and we're not going to repeat it.
We will be coming back to this assurance, but we have to take a break now. We're still on Upfront, the guest on this day, and we're focusing on the Ministry of Special Development Initiatives. The Honorable Howard Kumsin is actually the minister in this particular ministry. When we are back, we will explore the development authorities and get to know when you will see the $1 million in your constituency. You're welcome back. This is Upfront. My name is Raymond Alkwa. My guest is the Minister for the Special Development Initiatives Ministry. And the Honorable Howard Kumsin is also a member of Parliament. There's a good history about she retaining the seat twice, something that's not happening in any other, time with the predecessors anyway. But Honorable, we were at a point where we were talking about how different is the Northern Development Authority. And I've not come to the coastal and the middle belt from what we have seen in times past, which has not been the success that we want it to be. You first mentioned supervision. Beyond supervision, have you read the SADA report?
Yes.
There were specific reference to structural difficulties and also some form of accountability issues that virtually dogged the operations of this institution. How is the people of this republic assured that we are not going to see another SADA in the Northern Development Authority?
Thank you. I mentioned earlier on that we've learned from those mistakes and we're not going to repeat them. When we went to Tamale for the stakeholders consultation, this was one of their main concerns.
Okay.
That they wouldn't want the Northern Development Authority to be like the SADA. And that is why the president, in his own wisdom, said, why don't we create the Development Authority in their zones? Formerly with the SADA, it used to be part of Volta and part of
yes, the
Brong-Ahafo region.
Because they looked at the Savannah zone, really.
Savannah zone. But this time around, it's going to be only the 3 northern regions.
Okay.
Now with the middle belt will be Brong-Ahafo, Ashanti, and then Eastern region.
Okay, I see.
So the supervision will actually be more effective. And also we will also want to make sure that whatever project is to be taken, that's why I said we need the consent of the people. All that was done previously was just from the top down. But
sure.
This time is going to be bottom up.
But forgive me, I got the impression from those who put the concept together, and I've spoken at length with somebody like Dr. Slegari, but that says that they really engaged, and the engagement was with the people on the ground. Are you sure that they didn't do this?
They didn't.
I mean,
they didn't do the engagement at all. I'm
really?
telling you, yeah. I have read a lot from SADA, being one of the agencies under my ministry.
Okay.
In fact, for now, it is the only agency under my ministry.
Okay.
And I've had time with them. Like I said...
Is it the current leadership or the previous leadership that is giving the impression that they had not engaged the people?
The previous leadership.
They told you that the engagement was not as well as it was.
Well, that's what I read from.
Okay.
That's what I read. But currently, Dr. Charles Abugri, he is doing better than it used to be.
Okay.
He is doing better than it used to be.
But his tenure has not been without problems. I'm sure you are aware of that.
I know, but it's better than it used to be.
So how is that going to be fixed?
When we get there, it will be fixed.
Oh,
yes.
So, I mean...
When we pass the bill, it will be fixed. We are now taking it from Savannah as a Red Development Authority to Northern Development Authority.
So when the name changed...
When the name changed, everything about that office will change.
I want to be very clear in my mind. What else will change?
I say everything, even though
I know
we
you're
are
likely
absorbing.
to sack the CEO, that's fair deal, but I know that's likely to happen, but...
that's not what
beyond,
I mean. I
yes.
say everything will change.
Yes, but...
The organogram of the office will even change.
Okay, will there be office or CEO?
Yes, they will.
Okay.
There will be deputies, which we don't even have.
Okay.
But it's likely there will be deputies there.
Will the current CEO maintain that particular office?
That one, I am not the final authority. I cannot say.
It's not been decided yet?
It's not been decided yet.
Okay. Beyond having a CEO and the things involved, what... it's interesting. I mean, I know, I mean, people believe that he will not stay long, but that's beside the point. My substantive question on this particular issue is, the thinking behind SADA was to generate growth poles so that, for example, in the Fumbisi Valley and other places, there are places where development can spring forth. Is it the same thinking that the Northern Development Authority is going to go with?
Yes, please. It's the same thing.
That's the same structure
That's
as
the
going
same
to work.
structure is going to.
So if the same, then exactly what will change with SADA and NDA?
I don't want to say much about the change in SADA for now. Why? Because we've not yet changed it into Northern Development.
Okay.
When the bill is being passed, okay, then we'll see the change that will come.
Okay, yeah. But one point though, what's the current state of SADA? What are they doing?
For now, SADA is not doing anything because the change is to take place.
All right, so the guinea fowls are not back?
Not yet. Maybe when we take over, it will come back.
Interesting. It's interesting to know. But and there were accountability issues and some people in reports that ought to be dealt with. How far with the implementation of these?
I think it's still with the, is it the EOCO also?
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
It's virtually been there for a very long time.
Yeah, so when
deal?
we change to the Northern Development Authority, all this will be done. That's why I said when we get there, because we'll have to make sure that the right thing is done.
Okay.
And those wrong things that were done in the previous administration will not be repeated here. And also will not be repeated in the other authorities that we are bringing up. So we'll make sure that whatever wrong went on at SADA, we'll have to bring them up.
The Auditor General recommended prosecution and retrieval of some monies. How far have you gone with that?
That's why I said I don't have much. I'm not privy to those for now.
Okay.
Because I'm much concerned with getting the Northern Development Authority
taking over. And
then after which we'll concentrate on this.
Okay. So, I mean, you've talked about we actually spoke about the NDA, that's the Northern Development Authority, the Middle Belt. Which areas are going to constitute the Middle Belt? So the Ashanti, Eastern, and the Western?
No, Brong-Ahafo.
Brong-Ahafo region.
Yeah.
So Western is part of the Coastal Development Authority.
Yeah.
And it's going to follow the same format you spoke about, as in consultations from regional coordinators and all of that going into the special development plan.
Yes, please.
I mean, the thinking around some of these development authorities is that because they are peculiar needs, they have to deal with peculiar issues. Are we considering increasing the dedicated amount of monies to these because some have very special needs?
Yeah, the bill is so loud on that. We've even mentioned it in the bill that is currently at Parliament, that when the need comes, or along the line, the government will have to increase, if there's the need for us to increase the amounts from the $1 million equivalent per constituency, then we'll have to discuss it.
And the criteria will be what? The poorest constituencies or? Not
the poorest. We will do it across board. Because currently it is 1 million per constituency, even though each constituency has its or her own peculiar problems, but we'll still give out the same amount. It is the development authority that will have to work harder to bring more development into the zone.
One quick question about the increase in the demand, let's say, for constituencies that the need will arise for that to happen. The question being asked, I mean, I know of the Ghana poverty maps, districting and determination of poverty based on these districts. How are you going to be able to determine poverty based on constituencies?
Yeah, the determination is, you look at their condition of living and other things. Okay. But then you will also realize that these people are not that poor, but just that they are not able to turn around whatever they have in their area there. That's why we're bringing in the development authority to plan and make sure that whatever raw materials that are there, we can put them into good use. We'll bring in developers to do all these things for the people to realize that they are not poor. When you come to the central region,
we do all these things to realize that. Then one thing comes to mind: one district, one factory. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, one district, one factory is part of it. You know, this government, I mentioned earlier that we're trying to eradicate poverty. Even if not completely, but we should be able to do what? To minimize it. Now, when these development authorities are being established, we're going to create jobs, direct and indirect.
How?
Yes. The direct one, I earlier on said that we've taken, as we speak, 10 member teams are around.
You're talking about the administrative bureaucratic structures going to
that one will be able to put up about 675 because the coordinators per constituency throughout the 275. Yeah, and then we'll add 400 more to the regional offices to make up the authority.
So the structure itself is going to employ over 600
people. 600 people. Then the indirect one is the government is thinking of putting up toilet facilities in every community, putting up warehouses for planting for food, and then jobs.
Okay, so now, let me be clear. So if the people in the community says, our biggest need is not really a toilet facility, would you still do so? Yeah,
the flexibility is there, will not do it. Whatever they think will benefit them is what the government will do for them.
So what's this idea of putting up toilets in communities?
That's one, those ones are the government priorities. I mentioned that we have government priorities, and then we have the constituency priority. And as I speak from the report I've even received.
I got the impression that it was the people's needs that were going to be served.
That's what I'm saying. Even the report that has come, they are also
mentioning the same thing. Okay.
Water and then toilets. You know, toilet and water has been the needs of people, apart from these two, then roads, hospitals, and then maybe police posts. These are some of their needs.
And the people say that when you put up, let's say, toilet facilities, that's what they want?
Most of them, yeah.
Even in the central region?
In the central region, yes.
Even in the coastal areas?
In the coastal areas, they need it.
Because I've seen a report from UNICEF that the people are seemingly rejecting some of these toilet facilities.
But they have
because they say they are better off at the shore.
No. We have to discourage that.
Okay.
We need to.
Of course, I mean, opification is not good.
Yeah, we need to.
I'm just wondering how you're going to do it differently.
So we've educated them in a way, and they've come to realize that no, they need a facility to make good use of it.
But the project has suddenly taken off. When did you do the education?
We did the education before the consultation.
Okay.
Yeah, we did it alongside with the consultation.
Interesting.
And made them to understand why they need those toilet facilities.
So, yes, I'm clear on that particular one. So, beyond toilet facilities, which are the other government priority areas we are looking at?
I mentioned water for all.
Okay.
That's mechanized boreholes.
So, that's also going to be implemented by the... So, for example, if my constituency has 1 million, why would we have to use part of it for water projects when indeed that's supposed to be done separately?
It's the needs of your constituency.
Okay, so if it's not in our need list, it will not be used for it?
It will not be used for it.
Okay, so water and...
water, toilets, and then warehousing. Sanitation. Yeah, sanitation. Yeah.
Warehousing.
For planting for food. We've come to realize that we don't have storage facility for our harvest.
Buffer stock.
Yes. So we're thinking of putting up the warehousing. So after...
but I thought under Mills administration, there were similar buffer stock companies established across the country.
I don't know about it. Yeah, I don't know about it.
When you're in Parliament, you should know.
I'm in Parliament. I don't know about that. You
should know whether it was implemented or not. But
that's why I don't know about it.
But since you intend doing it, shouldn't that have been done ahead of time, that you have a plan to see whether or not these projects are supposed to go this way or not? Yeah,
we're looking at, I'm in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture. To let me know where exactly we need all these things. Okay, so they will come up with.
So you are in part also going to implement the planting for food and jobs?
Yeah. I told you that this ministry is in collaboration with it. Collaborates with all.
My only difficulty is that it looks like people's 1 million is going to be used for other things that really. No. So if my constituency doesn't want.
If you don't need it, we don't have to do it.
If we don't want, we need it, but we don't want you to use our money to build that.
How would you get it if you need it?
But there's a program separately. We were never told that the planting for food and jobs people were not going to have their own warehouses.
No, the warehouses will be used by the constituency.
Because, for example, if ADB gives them 450 million and they can put up a warehouse in my constituency, what will the money be used for?
It depends on what you will need from the Agric Ministry. Then they will use that money from the ADB. But this warehouses is one of the government priorities. That the government think he needs to give to the people so that we can store our grains and other. So for a coastal community that's predominantly to fishing, would you need a cold store or a warehouse? Yes. Whatever they need, we'll give to them. If it is a cold store, we'll give to them. Okay. They wouldn't need a warehouse there, but it's the cold store they would need. And if that is their need, we'll do it for them. Okay, I get that point, and it's clarified. To my understanding, I'm sure it's also very clear to many. But let me also get to explore this particular point that's being made. You talk about the monies and how it will be disbursed. When is the money getting to the people? I think that's the meat of our conversation. The money is ready. We're only waiting for the reports to come. You know, when I hear it's ready, and I know government procedures have long pipeline business. When you say ready, what do you mean? When I say it's ready, it's at the Ministry of Finance, ready for the disbursement. It's been allocated. So when the needs come, then we will write to the Ministry of Finance to say this is what we are supposed to do for this area and that area. So you release these funds.
So let me be clear. One, even though the setup, there's already bills before Parliament, there's money allocated to each constituency, that's in 1 million.
Yeah.
And that money, we are virtually in, what they call it, August. When are the people going to get the money? That
is why presidents say we should use the provisional arrangement to do the implementation this year. Because if we want to wait...
When you say provisional arrangement, what's that?
When we say provisional arrangement, you know, the ministry is under the presidency. And so the presidency can do any disbursement under.
Okay.
Okay. So the arrangement is to, instead of us waiting for the development authorities to be established before we do the implementation through the authority. No, let's get this 10-member team to do the assessment for us. Then we'll do the disbursement from the ministry.
So when are the people in my constituency going to get the money?
When the report is ready, they will get their money.
Whose report are you talking about?
The report of the constituency needs assessment that they've come to do.
Okay.
You know, it's regional based, so they'll have to do that of the whole central region. And then bring a bulk.
What time have you given them to present this report?
We gave them, I think, they're supposed to bring it as at last week. But some of them have brought theirs. Others are still, I think today and maybe tomorrow, the rest will come on.
So it's on regional basis?
It's on regional basis.
How many regions have submitted their reports?
We have about 6 regions as I speak.
So when will the 6 regions get their monies and start the implementation?
No, we're waiting to bring all the regions together.
But
because
why?
Whatever project we are doing, we have to group them. We will do the analysis. You understand? You analyze them and put the projects into groupings because you're going to give them out for
I thought
contract.
The idea of having to give out a regional base is to separate it and not be jointed to other regions. So if people are very efficient in my region and others are not efficient, that means that we have to wait for them.
Well, not really, but at least we make sure that we'll get about 80–90% of the report.
What's the deadline for the other regions to submit their own?
This week, by tomorrow. Tomorrow is the deadline, and I'm sure by today they'll bring everything.
So when they bring it tomorrow and everything is set, when are we going to get the money to the people?
Latest by the end of August.
That's barely 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks' time. Yeah.
Every single constituency should get their 1 million.
Yes.
And would it be?
No, excuse me. When you say they should get their 1 million, we're not taking the 1 million to them.
I get you.
Please.
That's why I wanted clarity.
Yeah, we're not giving the money to them per se.
So
it's the project we're going to give out for implementation. Okay. So we'll now come up with the procurement process. Then the contract will be given out. And let me also state here that the contract will be, some will be based on the local content. We'll allow the people from the constituency to also have...
What percentage of these projects will be local content contracted?
Well, at least about 40% will be local content.
Okay. Let me understand this part clearly. So when will the people in the various constituencies know that a project of this sort is being put up because of the 1 million per constituency project? When would they know that?
That's what I said by the end of August.
They would know?
They will know.
Would you
because we'll
publish the projects?
Yes, we'll publish them.
For every constituency?
We'll have to do it. So if that is not what they requested for, they can even come and tell us. Okay, then there can be changes made to it. There can be changes made to it. Maybe all you know, the people just sat somewhere and took their own decision with the chief or maybe the member of parliament that the people are not. Okay, so the team you put together, there's a way to actually verify what they have said so that people can come back and say that these are not really our needs. What we requested for. Okay. We're giving them the opportunity.
There's a point that also needs to be clarified in this particular case. The projects we are talking about, you have also told me that they are not the district assemblies projects that we are talking about, right? Yeah. So how would you, because of what has been done now, know that these are not the district assemblies projects we are talking about? I just mentioned. Mindful of the initial arrangements we have. Yes. Because this is a provisional arrangement. It's not like the previous one. Yeah. The member of parliament will be consulted to
And as I said, we'll publish the project.
And this is just within 2 weeks?
Within 2 weeks, yeah.
You're consulting all
They
MPs.
are already, even they always come to me and they tell me what their needs are.
NDC and MPP MPs?
They are all with me. Yeah,
see.
we're giving everybody the opportunities. They are all members of this country.
And there will not be any discrimination regardless of whether
No.
you were in the voter
This
region
ministry
and you
is
didn't
not.
vote as much as we wanted you to vote for us.
That is even where we're going to send more projects.
I see.
Yeah, voter region, if they need it, we'll give it to them. They should just come out with their priorities, that's all.
Okay, but one question. Can there be a single constituency that because of the issues raised would have to delay with implementation until some of the issues are resolved? Does people come out to say that there's a problem with how this
We'll have to wait till we resolve it. Well, we really want the people to own the project. We wouldn't want any conflict when the project is being implemented.
Okay.
So when there is any conflict, we'll resolve it before we start implementing.
If the people are asking for a factory in their area ahead of the implementation of the one district, one factory thing, would you build it for them?
Yes.
Mindful of the fact that they'll be getting a factory later on in the district?
It depends on the kind of factory they will be demanding for.
Okay.
We have this small-scale factory
that you are looking at too?
Looking at. And then those big factories, this is where we bring in the PPP, private partnership, to come and take over. And the one district, one factory. Last week, I heard the coordinator mentioned that even at a Kumfi, this pineapple project is going to take off, and they are going to do pineapple juice. And the Exim Bank is ready to sponsor it. Okay,
so that's why I was asking. So if the people in the constituency want a factory, and there's a factory supposed to be built in the district too, would you still give them a factory? It
depends on the kind of factory they are requesting from this ministry. That's why I say, maybe you have your bakery there and you think you want to bring about 4 or 5 more people to make it bigger than you are doing now. We can help to do it so that you can also employ people before this big factory comes in. So we're also going to help with these small-scale factories.
All right, so we are about wrapping up on this conversation. And one of the things that I want to also clarify with you on this implementation is the fear that mostly there are 2 things that happen with programs like this. One, elite capture. And secondly, political party foot soldiers also get to own the project. So he might not be competent or qualified in any way, but he's really the guy who's implementing a major government policy on the grounds. Can you assure the people of this republic that's not going to happen with this project?
That's the assurance I'm giving them.
Is this assurance from you or is from the highest authority in government?
From the president.
That it will not be one of those programs where foot soldiers take over?
Yes.
And
it's from the president.
Okay. All right. So
he is father for all. He said it and he's actually doing it. He's promised that whatever project we'll do is for the people of this country, not for MPP, foot soldiers or otherwise, no.
By the end of the year, I'm sure these development authorities that have been put in place.
Yeah.
So next year, they'll be rolled out.
Yeah.
Or they'll be rolled out this year.
If the bill is being passed this year, we'll do the rolling out this year. If it is by December, then early next year we'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And finally, in all of these, how many jobs do you seek to create indirectly too?
Like I mentioned earlier on that the direct...
Yes, it's 650.
675.
Oh, 675 rather.
675. But the indirect is about 40 to 50,000 by the end of the 4 years.
So 4 years?
Yes.
Oh, I thought end of year. I mean,
no. By the end of 4 years.
Actually excited.
Because it's a gradual process.
Okay,
yeah.
I see.
So by the end of the 4 years, between 40 to 50,000 jobs will be created at this ministry.
Is that a sign of success of this particular project?
Yes.
So if you don't create that number of jobs, it means the project
Which
failed.
I know we'll be able to create.
It means the project failed?
No. Not
but
really.
If it's not
no, it is. But what I'm saying that we'll make sure, and I'm sure that by the end of the 4 years, we'll create that number of jobs. So we are not going to fail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Beyond the number of jobs created, what else are your signposts of success?
The projects that will be visible in the constituency.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when people see the projects.
Yes.
But shouldn't the project translate into transformation of their lives some way, somehow?
It should be. When the project is there, definitely it will transform in their lives. When the project
So, for
is at the
example, if you
constituency,
build 3, let's say, toilet facilities in the constituency,
yes,
we should see the open defecation in that constituency going down.
going down.
We should see, let's say, cholera cases going down.
Going down, yes.
And you'll be able to...
And also people will be engaged to even work at the toilet facility.
Foot soldiers.
Not foot soldiers.
Ah, well.
No food soldiers. I said people. I
see. Because there's always a fight over toilet facilities when there's a change of government.
So are you telling me that when we take such project to the Volta region, are we going to have...
You have food soldiers in the Volta region too?
We don't have them there. We don't have them.
Are you sure?
That's why we don't have my seat there.
Okay. That's where I'm sure we can end this conversation. Many thanks to you, Honorable, for opening up your doors to us. And this is Upfront. My name is Raymond Akwa. Thank you so much for being with us on this show.